Magandang tanghali sa lahat. This is your friend Diego Bandido, and we have a show today, but today is gonna be different. I'm gonna be inviting some of my friends. Sila Ring Roadmap, I'm sure you guys know him already, and si Fight Film, also known as Precise Presenter. I don't know if you, I don't know if familiar kayo sa kanya, but we'll be doing the show today in English. Pag-uusapan natin yung Dubai card, si Lomachenko versus Commey, Donaire versus Gaballo, and konting konting yung kay Marlon Tapales. All right. Oh, Triple JJJ, big shout out to you, my friend. All right, we're just gonna wait for the guys. Let's see. Mike Magno, we're gonna talk about Casimiro also and what happened to him and ano yung gusto nating mangyari para sa karera ni Casimiro. Wait, let me turn off the video real quick. Wala pa yata si Ring Roadmap. All right, shout out to you, Mike Magno, Mark, or Merk, Pulverizer, Ace, Sina Mosea. Pasok ka kung gusto mo, Sina Mosea. So, what do you guys think about the Probellum Revolution event? Did you guys like it? Sayang kasi si Donnie Nietes, he had a draw and there was a lot of fuckery that happened in that fight, in that event. And we also had Jason Mama versus Edwards. It wasn't too good. Warren DG, yeah, they messed up. Portobello Mushrooms promotion. Come on in, man. Triple JJJ. I sent the link on Discord. A little disappointed, yes. I'm sure it was a little disappointing to all the Filipinos who bought the fight to see Janriel Casimiro. Something that they couldn't have prevented. He was ill. He was diagnosed with viral gastritis. I think it's the same as what do you call this? Stomach flu. He kept vomiting. Too bad. And then see Paul Butler. He was supposed to fight Agbeko, but then he pulled out of the fight because he wanted to fight for the WBO, the full title. WBO was trying to make it into a parang interim. They could fight for the interim belt, but he didn't want that. I guess he thought that fight was worthy of the full belt. What a joke. The man was a 44-year-old, or 43. He's been knocked out before. He was a late replacement. Teka lang. How about those I don't know, man. I don't want to talk about drama and stuff. Let's just talk about boxing. Ark araw-araw, mayong udto diha by Diego. Mayong udto sa imuha by interim belt strip. Well, he didn't fight for the interim belt, Warren DG. He said he wanted to fight for the full belt. That's why it didn't happen, and that's why he pulled out. So we don't know what's gonna happen next. If Casimiro might fight him on another date, or we might see Casimiro with Inoue after Inoue's fight. I heard that Inoue wants to fight somebody for sure in the spring, so around April. He wants to fight either Casimiro or Nonito Donaire. I think Inoue is getting too big for this weight. That's why he can't wait to unify or become undisputed so he can move up. And I think, oh, here's fight film. It's gonna be. Do you guys remember Precise Presenter? He was the guy who made those Manny Pacquiao videos, those film studies on Manny Pacquiao. The big Pacquiao fan. But W ordered to fight Abeco. Yeah, I know, but he wanted to fight for the full belt. It's ridiculous. That fight is not worthy of a full WBO belt. Yeah, Precise is an OG. I'm sure he was in the front lines when the Maypac happened. And I'm sure a lot of Filipinos appreciate all his work, all his I think we could erect a Precise Presenter statue somewhere here in the Philippines. He can run for Congress and he'd win. So we're still waiting for the WBO to make a an announcement to what's gonna happen to Casimiro, but they asked Casimiro to produce a medical report and a medical certificate from the physician to prove that he really had an illness that prevented him to continue fighting. Contrary to what's being reported sa media, like they've been saying na he missed weight and all that. We'll see. I don't think that's what happened. Well, Casimiro did say that they already submitted the medical reports and the medical certificate from the physician who examined him. So we'll see. Your opinion, Strip, or should stay with Casimiro? Especially if he is able to prove na he was really ill. But I don't know, man. There's Casimiro's being fucked with right now. I mean, the fact that even Philippine media came out with the report that he missed weight or he was way overweight. But, we heard Casimiro say that he had a pound and 1.2 pounds left. Diba? But then at 12 a.m., I think he was rushed to the hospital because he couldn't stop vomiting. Ken Viper, kamusta kapatid? Skyler and Merck. Right choice for Butler. Why should I fight Agbeko without knowing him? Well, Agbeko is 43 years old and he's a late replacement, And then I'm sure he had a few fans who flew over there and bought tickets. You should have fought for them. Wait, let's see. Oh, Precise is here. Hey, what's up, man? Kamusta?
What's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
How's
Ugh,
everybody? How you doing, man?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm okay. I'm all right. No complaints.
Do you guys recognize this guy's voice? I'm sure they've heard of you, man. I
Oh,
mean,
it's whatever. It's all good.
we've all seen all those Manny Pacquiao videos.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about making some more, but I've been waiting for him to retire, and I'm not convinced that he is. We'll see. We'll see.
Never heard of that guy. I think he's retired, man. He is, ever since he started his campaign, he aged quite considerably. You can see all the white hair, and he looks a politician now.
Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see. You know how these boxers are, man. But unlike most of these guys that retire, he really has something else going on, so that'll probably keep him out of the ring. But still skeptical.
Yeah. But did you hear that he's supposed to have like a charity basketball with Floyd Mayweather?
Really? No, I didn't.
Yeah,
One
I
on
think
one
it's
or
supposed
like 5-on-5 teams?
teams.
Okay. Yeah. Whatever. I won't be watching.
Yeah, Filipinos are obsessed with basketball. It's something that we don't excel in, but we keep pushing the issue for some reason. Oh well.
Maybe if they lower the hoop a little bit.
Nah.
I don't know, man. When I was growing up in Chicago, at this uh, at this park on the south side, there would be like different teams, and there was always this like Filipino squad, and they were pretty good actually. But they would always stick together and look for pickup games. There was like 6 or 7 of them, and it was always the same 5, 7 guys, and they were pretty decent. They were pretty good.
When I was living in Seattle, I played basketball with a bunch of brothers, and
Yeah.
then we got smashed, man. And they asked us, "Do you guys want to continue? Are you sure?" Oh my goodness, that was the last time I played basketball with the brothers.
No, but these guys were serious. They were really into it, and I think it was the fact that more than anything that they were a team, so they knew how to play together.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, they were pretty good. They had one tall guy, he was the center, and then everybody else was little. But the one tall guy, he always took a beating at the rim.
I hope Filipinos stick to boxing and pool. I think we excel in those sports.
Right on.
Something that does not require height advantage. Well, anyway, let's start with the Nonito Donaire versus Gaballo fight. Did you see that fight? And
Yes,
what
I
do you
did.
think?
I've never seen Gaballo fight, but he looked decent from what I did see in the ring with Nonito. I guess he beat Rodriguez. Oh, was that a legit win or was it kind of a gift? Did you see that fight?
Yeah, I saw that fight. I'm Filipino, but I have to admit that was a gift.
That was a gift. Okay. Well, either way, Rodriguez ducked Nonito, so fuck him.
Oh, he did?
Well, I think he had. Well, he said he had the flu when he was supposed to. They were supposed to make that fight. If I remember correctly, he got sick and didn't step up. Basically, I think Inoue took that guy's soul basically.
Oh
But
yeah.
Nonito looked. He looked okay. I was reminded of. I don't know if you remember must have been what, like, 10 years ago now, where he was fighting Nishioka and what's that guy's name, Matebula, right around that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
He kind of reminded me of that, like that level of Nonito, but just no longer has the explosiveness, but he's a lot more patient. So he compensates for, because he has aged. To me,
Yeah.
he doesn't look as fast, as explosive as he used to be, but he's smarter. So he's like, he's enjoying quite the Indian summer of his career, and he's looking good. But
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, I see him, as very beatable. But you really got to be good to beat the guy. But he is beatable. You know what I mean? Like, I see a lot of flaws. I wish he would use his jab. You know what I mean? Things like that. Um, and he's still very reliant on his power. He always was, but he really wasn't setting it up in this fight very well. So it was, I don't know, kind of hot and cold. But you know, these guys, he hits them once or twice and it's all over, man. He really has tremendous power. So I
Yeah.
guess he can afford to not suck. That's harsh, but like maybe not work as hard as he could potentially. I don't know what it is, to be honest, but I'm just gonna chalk it up to age. He looked good, man, for 39 years old, to still
Mm-hmm.
be beating up undefeated guys, or hanging in there with someone like Inoue. Like, definitely, one of the best bantamweights, super bantamweights of all time. So decent performance, but it's what I expected from Nonito, right? So I'm not gonna say I was impressed, because he is big at the weight. He hits harder than probably anybody at the weight, including Inoue, in my
Yeah.
opinion. So I expected that, just as I expected him to smash Ubali.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we gotta see him versus Casimiro or Inoue to really know what he has left. What did you think?
Actually, I was kind of surprised of how Gaballo looked. I thought he was just gonna. I didn't know he had the skills, 'cause he was. I think he was outboxing Nonito Donaire for 3 rounds,
Yeah.
and I didn't know he had those skills. And I thought that his only chance was to make it into a rough and ugly fight, because he's the younger guy, and Gaballo is known for his power as well. And but I did not trust his boxing skills, especially after I saw the Rodriguez fight, Manny Rodriguez. But apparently he was a late replacement, so kind of see it. But it seems like he really studied Nonito Donaire for this fight. And did you know Nonito Donaire caught COVID again?
Really?
Yeah, he did. He said it only lasted for couple of days or something.
Hmm. Okay.
I don't
I
know.
mean, I mean, I don't know what to think about that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah, but
he looked good, Gaballo, from what I saw. He was controlling distance. He was
uh-huh.
moving his head well.
Yeah,
But Nonito, just all he needed was that one punch, and the guy
I
kind of.
know.
I thought he kind of quit, to be honest.
I mean, he stood up, but it's his body just couldn't take it, man. He did try to stand up and get into the fight again, but Nonito Donaire, for me, pound for pound, is one of the biggest punchers right now. And
Yeah, yeah, of all time.
Nonito, Gaballo, he just made a fatal flaw. He squared up in front of Nonito Donaire. He exposed his liver,
Yeah,
and
but you can make these mistakes against most guys, and
yeah,
you'll
exactly.
get a hit, and you'll keep going. But
Uh-huh.
so that's the thing with Nonito, right? Like, um, if he gets to that level where the chins are just better and these guys are just tougher and they won't quit, because it's just my opinion, but I think if you're going down from a body shot and you're not getting up, you're quitting. To me, I'm not saying it's
Yeah.
wrong necessarily, or I'm not saying you're a pussy, but there
Mhm.
are those guys that no matter how hard you hit them to the body, they'll fucking get up. You know what I mean? They're they're
Yeah,
just they're just so mentally strong that they could get over that. But
I agree.
yeah, but
Like Nonito himself against Inoue, right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, he could have checked out, and the referee kind of maybe helped him out a little bit. You could say whatever, but
Yeah,
ultimately he got up, right,
he
and
did.
continued. So he's at that level. He's at that elite level where he's only going to lose to, if he does, to another elite guy. And you really have to be special to beat someone like Nonito, even at 39 years old. People were counting him out against Inoue, saying how easy it's going to be. Inoue is going to
Hmm.
walk over him. And even though I picked Inoue, I was telling everybody, like, that's going to be his toughest fight, and I wouldn't be surprised if he got knocked out, right? Inoue proved that he's tough too, right? He had a really good
Hmm.
chin, and he was mentally tough fighting with the broken orbital bone. So that's what I'm talking about, right? At that level, these guys are just cut from a different cloth. And Nonito, Inoue, those are the guys. I think Casimiro, still has to answer those questions. So we'll see about him. But yeah, man, you gotta be special to beat even a 39-year-old Nonito at this weight class. You gotta be special.
Exactly. Well, let's welcome Ring Roadmap. Are you there, Ring Roadmap? This guy, he does film studies as well. He's. Uh oh, you have an echo.
Yeah,
Are you there? Oh, there you go. I think you have an echo, man.
now I'm trying to listen into like my second phone,
Oh, oh,
so
I
that's
see.
why. Yeah, try to listen to the quality of it.
So, Ring Roadmap, me fight film. You know him already?
No, no idea. What's going on, man? How you doing?
I don't know him either. I don't know, man. It's cool.
So we were talking about Nonito Donaire versus Raymond Gaballo. What do you think of that fight, man? Before you answer, I want to say shout out to Tomato Can, the Quags. Thank you for coming. All right. What do you think?
Is that for me?
Yep.
Okay. Well, the Gaballo fight, I thought Gaballo was winning, before the knockout, and he was pretty much countering everything that Donato was trying to throw at him. So, for example, when Donato was trying to throw the right hand over the top, Gaballo was countering him with a check hook. Although it didn't land, it disrupted the rhythm of Donato, and he was actually getting pushed back. And then secondly, the hooks weren't landing, the hooks to the head. For some reason, Gaballo was doing a good job defending himself from that. And then the body shot just landed in the fourth round, But before that, I thought Gaballo was winning, and so it's just one punch would change the whole fight. But I thought if Gaballo would have defended that body shot well, he could have won some rounds and it could have lasted a lot longer. So that's what I really thought of that. Um, Gaballo is really explosive. I think he's at this point of his career, he's probably faster. Like at top speed, he's probably faster than Donaire, man. At this particular stage of his career, he's probably faster than Donaire. And so
Mm-hmm.
if it wasn't for that shot, I think it could have lasted a lot longer. The body shot it was there, man. And Gaballo really has a hard time defending body shots. So I think they studied that and they figured it out later on.
Yeah, apparently his kids, Nonito's kids, were screaming, "Body shot, body shot."
Yeah, and Rachel also said it. Like Rachel also said it herself that they were like looking for that shot. So
Uh,
They might have planned for it.
But something that a fight film pointed out. I think you did film study of Donaire and what's that dude's name? That Scottish dude or English WBSS. What's that guy's name again?
Burnett.
Burnett. Yeah,
Burnett.
yeah. Ryan Burnett. You did a film study, and you were one of those dudes who really pointed out what happened because people said it was just a freak accident or whatnot, but you showed that he was really when Nonito was targeting the body, right? He was investing to the body, and he was hitting him with right, straight rights to the body, and then that led to the injury, I guess, and it retired Ryan Burnett. I mean, that's how hard he hits.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't want to give Nonito credit for that fight because apparently Burnett had some kind of an injury. But I mean, he was beating up his body the whole night, and even if it didn't, like, there was no immediate connection, like he lands a right hand to the body, and then and the left side and Burnett grabs the left side of his body and reacts immediately to it. That doesn't mean that it wasn't the body shots that did it, because as I stated, you could hit a guy on one side and you could feel the pain on the other side, or it could exacerbate a problem that was already there. You know what I mean? Especially if you're a hard puncher like Nonito, and those punches like just go through your body. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
people thought it was a fluke, and I was telling them, no, it's not a fluke. And I thought he was beating him anyway. He was winning the fight, in my opinion. A lot of people thought that Burnett was outboxing him, when I thought he was scared shitless and running away because he felt that power, and he was just in survival mode. And yeah, and he caught Nonito with some pity patter bullshit, but every time Nonito touched him, you could see the guy's eyes just get bigger and bigger. He was afraid, and he got knocked out. That's what that was. It was a knockout. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
So people, I think people weren't giving him credit for that, which is why they also underestimated him going up against Inoue and even Ubali. I think a lot of people were picking Ubali, which I just thought was crazy.
I know. I mean, Ubali went life and death with Takuma Inoue. I mean, it's not known as and Takuma Inoue was hurting him too.
Look,
So
unless you have an iron chin or you're a defensive master, you're gonna lose to Donaire. You know what I mean?
yeah,
In this division, right? Like his really legitimate losses came to bigger men in a division where he didn't really belong. You know what I mean? And Rigondeaux. But
yeah,
other than that, and I think he had a loss early on in his career. Whatever. Yeah, man, Nonito, he's massive. At this weight, he's massive. So all he needs is one shot. But I don't mean to be repeating myself, but that's really his game, right? Always was his game.
So one more fight that happened this past weekend is in Dubai, the Donny Nietes fight. And I want to ask you, Ring Roadmap, what you thought of that fight. How many rounds did you? We know it was a draw, but how many rounds did you think it was an actual draw?
I don't know. I mean, the dude was fighting back, but he wasn't doing anything like significant to me. I probably have to rewatch it, but by the time I watch it, it was like 2 or 3 rounds for the other dude, maybe even just 2. But again, he was fighting back. It probably gave the judges an impression that he was also winning some rounds. The dude was tall. He had some pretty good combos, but Nietes was landing the better shots. Nietes was pressing forward a little bit more than the other guy, and the other guy had his moments, but I don't think it was enough to get a draw. And so Yeah, I probably have to rewatch that, but I gave the other dude like 2 or 3 rounds. That dude was such a asshole. I don't even remember his name, man. I think his name was Ximenez.
Yeah,
Ximenez, right?
Jimenez.
Yeah, Ximenez. No, that was in the
Uh,
draw in my eyes.
uh, what about you, Precise?
Yeah, I basically agree. I thought I wasn't scoring the fight, but it got to a point where it just felt like Nietes had it in the bag. So I just kind of, stopped really looking at who was winning these rounds. And it felt like, yeah, Jimenez was working hard, and he did have like, a second win later on in that fight, and he had a little bit more success as Nietes slowed down, probably due to his age. But
Mhm.
ultimately, it was a lot of clubbing, wide shots. He was working a lot, but it wasn't anything sharp. And even though Nietes wasn't throwing as much, maybe when he did land, he was catching them with nice sharp counters, and he was hurting the guy, right, and never looked hurt himself. So
Yeah,
yeah, I just the quality. It was quality over quantity for me.
yeah, I agree. And then I'm a bit surprised that Donny Nietes still has the legs to throw those leaping uppercuts or those left hooks. Um, I was impressed. I mean, Donny Nietes, he did look good, but it's not as sharp as before. What do you think,
No,
Precise? Do
well,
you
and he
think,
was also much
yeah,
smaller than like much smaller. It was
yeah, exactly.
so he these little guys when they move up in weight, they got to work so much harder to fend off a much bigger man, right? So it's that much more stamina intensive, especially at what is he, 39 years old, 40 years old.
39, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So in that sense, yeah, it's impressive that these older guys, and you could throw Nonito in there, Nietes, Pacquiao, who just retired. These guys just are lasting so much longer these days.
Mm-hmm.
Especially little guys, because I remember even 10, 15 years ago, if you're a bantamweight, super bantamweight, even a featherweight, like your lifespan was 33, you were considered old.
Yeah, or 32.
Yeah. So
Uh, how do you think Donny Nietes would do against the likes of Chocolatito or Estrada? I'm not gonna include Jerwin Ancajas because Donny Nietes said he will not fight another Filipino ever again.
are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
uh I think he would lose, but I think he'd be very competitive. I think he would lose a competitive decision against Chocolatito. I think Chocolatito would just outwork and overwhelm him and out stamina him, and probably Estrada just as well. I just
Hmm.
don't know that he has it enough in the gas tank to. I think it would be very
Mm.
close and competitive early on, and then those guys would pull away and win a decision, close competitive decision late.
Mm. Yeah. What about you, Ring Roadman?
Okay, I think he can pull it off against Chocolatito. I don't think he can beat Estrada. Estrada's too, it's a little too fast, a little too much of a combination puncher. But Chocolatito, I think he can beat Chocolatito, man. His defense is still there, and I think he can use that to his advantage. He probably get outworked, but he won't get hit with clean shots, as people think. At this age, he's still sharp. He still gets to block all those shots. But for a combination puncher like Estrada, man, he has a variety of punches. I think some of those punches will land, and Yatas won't have the same reflexes. I mean, Chocolatito is a little less of a combination puncher compared to Estrada. So I think he can pull it off against Chocolatito. Probably a close one. That's a 50-50 at the moment. But against Estrada, that's going to be one-sided. I hate to say it, but Yatas will lose that one. Too many combinations, too fast, too flashy, and yeah, I'd have to see Estrada fight again to know. But right now, I'm picking Estrada. He's just like a clone of Juan Manuel Marquez. Amazing combinations. I don't think Gantis has what it takes to defend those.
I thought Chocolatito beat Estrada though in their last fight.
Yeah, I think he did. But style-wise, yeah, Estrada is more of a threat to me than Chocolatito.
I see. I heard that Rachel wants Nonito Donaire to move back to 115, which
What?
I don't like that idea. Rachel said if after he collects all the belt at 118, or if he loses, because 115 is the one weight class that he wasn't able to collect a belt there. But for me, I don't think there's honor there.
Wasn't he
There's
talking
no.
retirement like 3 fights ago? What is
I
this?
don't
What is
know.
this woman? What is this woman thinking, man? Oh my God, she wants. I think she wants her husband fucking brain dead, man. Oh,
Uh,
I mean,
I don't know.
if he makes that weight well enough, I mean, fuck, if he hits those little guys cleanly, I mean, he's gonna murder those little. If he could make the weight, you know what I mean? Can he? But then, even if he does, like, how strong is he gonna be? But if he does make it well and somewhat easily, which with snack, I mean, anything's possible. Yeah, I think he could knock all those guys out.
Apparently, he's not with Snack anymore. Rachel Donaire is doing her conditioning, and apparently, before the weigh-in against Gaballo, he was a 116, and yeah, he had to drink water to rehydrate to be able to make a 117. Also against Ubali, I saw him during the press conference before the weigh-in day before, and he was snacking, he was drinking water, and I was surprised. That's when I thought that wow, this guy is gonna win, because he didn't have problem making weight. I mean, because unlike the rest of the Filipino fighters, his Nonito Donaire is, he's slender.
Yeah.
His legs, his thighs, they aren't too big. Unlike guys like Jerwin Ancas or Pacquiao, Casimiro, they all have, those muscular. It's hard for them to cut weight because they have big calves and thigh muscles. But Donaire is a bit slender, and that's why he's able to. But yeah, he's still too tall and too big. I mean, he looked bigger against Obali, right? Didn't he?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He looked big against what's his face? Inoue. He looked bigger than Inoue,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how he's walking around at 116 before the fight. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think he went keto and intermittent fasting.
Yeah, okay. That's what they call it now.
What about your ring roadmap? What's your reaction? Do you think he should go back to 115 if he can't get the belt, or once he unify or become undisputed?
I don't know about that. No, it's a little too big, man. Plus, he's snacking on some breast milk. He might as well just might as well go up. I don't want him going down, man. Yeah, he's snacking on some breast milk. You might as well use that to like gain some mass or something. Yeah.
Hey, it's legal HGH. Come on now.
I don't see him going down too much.
Yeah. Let's talk about the let's talk about Lomachenko versus Richard Commey. I wanna hear you precise talk about Lomachenko, because to the Filipino audience, yes, he's very popular here in the Philippines, but I want them to be more aware of the way he trains, because this guy is just truly amazing. His approach to the game is just, I've never seen anything like it before. So what did you think of the Commey fight?
You know, it was a very good performance, but I was a little bit disappointed. He let him off the hook late, but at the same time, I think it's a sign of maturity.
Mhm.
I having had that reoccurring shoulder injury, he was winning the fight big. He won every single round. He had one or two 10-8 rounds probably in there, and he probably thought to himself, I could go for the knockout and maybe injure myself. You know what I mean? Or I could just cruise and just win the fight easily. And it seemed like he liked the guy, but
Mhm.
but he seemed to like the Japanese guy Nakatani just the same, right? There was no animosity there. They were hugging and smiling at each other, and but he murdered that man. So is it because Commey just was better, at least defensively, and a lot more difficult? It would have taken so much more effort to knock him out, maybe. But I thought he was preserving himself because he has plans, he has goals. Looks like he wants to keep fighting for another few years. He wants to get all those belts at 135. So it was a bit disappointing to see him, step off the gas when it looked like he could have forced the stoppage. But at the same time, I think it's a sign of maturity and a sign of good things to come. I mean, what can you say about Lomachenko, man? I mean, he may not. I think he is. He may not be the best fighter in the sport today, even though I think he is pound for pound. But just the way he goes about his business is not like anything we've ever seen before. Now you could take certain things he does, and you see Mike Tyson, right? You could see Pacquiao, you could see elements of different fighters, definitely, no doubt about it. But that package, what he is, we've never seen anything like that, and it's like it's gotten to a point where it doesn't matter who he fights, the fight's going to be entertaining. You know what I mean? Because he is fighting bigger men, so they're not going to go down easy. And just the way he goes about his business in that ring is just so fucking entertaining. I don't, he generally I don't like to watch mismatches, but he makes mismatches entertaining.
Exactly. Not only is a great fighter, he has his flair about him. I mean, even when he's very very popular here in the Philippines because this in Pauka Sports, every time he does live about Lomachenko, the live views, just it's insane.
Uh-huh.
One time it was like that Teofimo versus Lomachenko. It was like something crazy, like 180,000 live views. I mean,
Jeez.
they
Well,
love this guy.
if you're a boxing fan, what is there not to like? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
He's aggressive. He comes to fight. He fights everybody. The fights are entertaining. There's skill, speed, power. He's got everything. Like, what is there not to like?
Yeah. What do you think, Ring Roadmap?
Well, I don't really think that he let Comey off the hook. I think he got tired, in the late rounds. It wasn't like a choice of him to do that.
Hmm.
Yeah, he didn't let him off the hook. He was tired. If you look at his mouth, it was wide open. He didn't have the same in and out movement. And I think the reason why is because if you look at the Teofimo Lopez fight, he wasn't moving as much in the early rounds. For this one, he was back to his normal self. And I think it kind of took a little bit of time to get used to that. And he didn't realize that in the late rounds, he didn't have the same movement anymore. He doesn't have the same legs anymore. And he was just fighting in spurts in the late rounds. I think he was tired. He didn't let him off the hook. Plus, Comey was a lot more durable than we think, The only reason why we think he's fragile is because he got KO'd by Teofimo Lopez with one punch. But again, Lomachenko doesn't have the same one punch power as Teofimo Lopez, so that might have played a role. I mean, he can definitely overwhelm like Comey with volume, but Comey's way more durable than people think, and so that also played a part of it. And Comey was fighting back. I mean, he wasn't hurting Lomachenko, but Lomachenko was cautious. Lomachenko was stepping back. Lomachenko was, delaying his combinations. And so I think part of that really was Commey was fighting back. We might not give him a lot of rounds, but he had his moments. And so this was this is not something to be ashamed of for Commey. Commey did a pretty good job. It's just that he didn't do enough to win the round as a whole. But he had his moments, and he was pushing Lomachenko back at some points. He was fighting on the inside. He was planting his power shots as well. I have to watch the highlights to see the clean shots, but I think he was landing some clean shots as well, based on what I remember when I was watching it live. It just wasn't enough to win the round, but he had his moments. And Commey will be back, man. Commey will be back stronger than ever, and he's gonna learn a lot from this fight. But yeah, I think Lomachenko is still the best in the division. Kambosos just had a lot of shine because he got all the belts, but I don't think that's enough. I think Lomachenko is still the bigger name I think he's still a bigger name than Kambosos, because he has the better legacy. He has more skills just overall, and I think he beats Kambosos if they ever fight. Yeah, that's a dangerous one for George.
Me too, but I have to disagree, man. I saw Lomachenko really. He let Commey off the hook. There were times where he was telling the corner, "Do you want me to? Do you want to continue?" I mean, I didn't like seeing that because it reminds me of Manny Pacquiao when he stopped being a sinner, when he developed a heart. Because before, Manny Pacquiao was just vicious, man. He fucking hit you while you're down and all that. But ever since, when he slowed down a bit, he didn't have that, the killer instinct that everybody loved. But I really think that he let Commey off the hook. I mean, a couple of times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but those times when he did that, it was the early rounds. Like, I think when he did that to the corner of Commey, that was in the early rounds. I'm referring to like the round 8 to round 12. That was when stamina played a part. It's not his choice anymore to, hey, I'm letting him off the hook. No, he was tired in the rounds 8 to 12.
Yeah, maybe. Because Commey was hitting him with body shots too. Right, Precise? You just see that?
Yeah, he landed some body shots. Not as many as some other fighters in some other fights, but maybe when Loma was younger. Look, it's a fight. Like, fighters always get tired, and I think when he put that assault on Commey, he was a little bit winded. But I mean, Loma is the type of guy, from what I've seen, that he just gets the second, third, fourth, fifth wind. I mean, boxing, I don't know. I think people make too much of, because I always hear like, oh, he gassed, these guys gas. Yeah, okay. If you're gassing in that ring, then that means you're not training hard in the gym, in my opinion, right? You're leaving something in the gym. You're just not dedicating yourself, or maybe you're drained or whatever. Loma, this is a very comfortable weight for him, and the type of training that this man does, I could see him like getting tired in the moment, but he fully recovered. It takes a minute or two. He fully recovers. I do some endurance stuff myself. It's not boxing, but I mean, I don't see boxing being, for example, as physically demanding as like running a marathon, for example. You know what I mean? And there's, when you're doing that sort of exercise, there's moments where you just want to die, right? Where you just don't want to do it anymore. You want to stop. You want to go home, whatever. But then something happens and you go into this trance, and you get your second win, third win, and you can go for it. So I think Loma did get a little bit gassed in the moment, but then after he took that eighth round off, if he wanted to, he could have just stepped on the gas and put a, I don't know that he would have stopped him, but he could have put a beating on him. I don't see a consummate professional like Loma getting tired after 8 rounds. You know what I mean? That's just like completely spent, where he has nothing left and he can't recover it. That's just, I just can't see that, especially since he's not drained at this weight. This is a very comfortable weight for him. If anyone is drained, it was Commey, right?
Mm-hmm. One thing I noticed about Lomachenko is I think he looks he's looking better at this weight. I mean, he has a nice. He filled up nicely. That's all I want to say. I mean, he looks good. His back muscles are more prominent now. His legs look good. I mean, he's filling up nicely. For his next fight, who do you want to see him fight? You precise.
I mean, Haney, Cambosos, um, yeah, probably just those two. I mean, Tank. I would like to see the Tank fight, but I know that's not. I know that's not happening. I know the Garcia fight isn't happening, nor is it really relevant. The guy's not relevant right now, in my opinion. So the only and Teofimo says he's moving up, right? But if Teofimo wants to stick around at 135, then that's an option too. So Haney, Cambosos, or Teofimo. But obviously, if I had to choose one, I would say Cambosos in Australia. That's probably the biggest fight in the division.
That would be great in front of 80,000 fans.
Yeah. Because something tells me Haney's not going to go to Australia. Something tells me.
These American boxers, they need to travel, man, for once. They need to fight on the road.
Yeah, but Haney's a cherry picker, man. I'm sorry, the guy's a coward, man. The dude's a coward. I don't give a shit what anybody says. I just when you model your whole career after Floyd Mayweather and not Pretty Boy, okay, Money Mayweather, that tells me everything I need to know without having paid the dues that Pretty Boy paid, And then there was a lot to criticize even Pretty Boy Floyd for. But if you're 22, 23, whatever the hell you are, your career really, you haven't done anything in your career, and you're already acting like, a 33, 32, 33-year-old Floyd Mayweather, that tells me everything I need to know. You're not in the game to prove that you're the best. You're just here to rob the bank. So I don't really respect the way Devin Haney moves, and I just see him as a protected boxer who will lose, but not officially. You know what I mean?
I just believe that everybody, Loma beats everybody in this weight division. It's too much for them. And I think he's the only real one in the divisions.
I think he beats anybody, but not all of them. I think beating all of them would be too much for him at this point in time. But in this next fight, he'll beat any one of them. Like that, what I mean?
What about you, Ring Roadmap? What do you think?
I'm not looking at any other fight right now besides Cambosos, bro. That pillow-fisted Devin Haney won't do shit. I'm sorry. He won't do shit. He doesn't have enough. He has too many defensive flaws. Almost got knocked down by a pillow-fisted Jojo Diaz. And fucking almost got stopped by Jorge Linares if it wasn't for his age. So, Cambosos has a better chance because, in my opinion, Cambosos has the speed of like a prime Jorge Linares. And if you look at the Linares versus Loma fight, Loma's having troubles with the hand speed as well. So this will be a good one. He might catch, I got a feeling he might catch Lomachenko with like a flash right hand and drop him. It's not going to be painful, but he may catch Lomachenko with like a counter right hand like he did against Lopez. I mean, Loma probably learned his lesson already. But that right hand of Cambosos is sneaky, and he may land. He may drop Lomachenko with like a flash knockdown. So it's going to be a good one. Lomachenko will stand back up, and he'll probably pour the gas on this guy. I'd still favor Lomachenko on that one. But Cambosos will have his moments just because of the hand speed. That hand speed will give Loma some troubles early on. And also his urge to fight back. That's going to give Lomachenko some troubles in establishing his offense. Because a lot of the fighters that he fought, the moment they got overwhelmed with the volume, they didn't punch back anymore. Like, for example, Nakatani. Nakatani didn't punch back anymore when he got overwhelmed by the volume. I don't think Cambosos will do that. Cambosos will give him a good fight for the early rounds. He will fight back, throw a couple of combinations, land a couple of uppercuts, and then, in the later rounds, Loma will probably figure him out. So that's what I think of that. he'll beat him in his own hometown or home country.
Yeah, and I think Lomachenko deserves, a big fight like this one. Because to be honest, when Jeff Horn versus Manny Pacquiao versus Jeff Horn happened, I wasn't really too excited about it. But when I saw the arena, the size of the crowd, I mean, it feels different, you know. You can feel the magnitude of the event. And I think Lomachenko deserves that, before he retires, because that man has been on a quest for greatness since he started, or even before he started. I mean, it would be nice to see him get a huge payday and be able to perform in front of a massive audience. Eh, Your ring roadmap, you're a boxer. Um, and I'm sure you've seen some of Lomachenko's training videos. And for the Pinoys listening right now who don't know, this guy's like a science experiment. I mean, his father, he took him out of boxing for a bit and made him learn ballet and also all sorts of other shit, wrestling as well. That's why he's so good. I mean, I think that's what's lacking in Filipino style of fighting. We don't know how to wrestle. I mean, we saw Manny Pacquiao when he was getting tied up by Floyd, and who else? Mama. I mean, they just give up and wait for the referee. That's one of my criticism of Manny Pacquiao, that he never bothered learning how to wrestle on the inside. And watching Lomachenko do it, man, something else. I think Filipinos should study Lomachenko and incorporate, wrestling in their style. It's good to cross train, in my opinion, because when my daughters, they do ballet, and one time I watched one of their recitals. When I've seen these dudes, man, they just leap up in the air with no vuelo. I don't know how to say it in English. How do you say vuelo? Or charge up or something. It's just like 0 to 60 in a second. What do you think, Precise?
Yeah, when you were saying that, I was thinking about Pacquiao too. He would always go limp in clinches, and that always annoyed the shit out of me. And Loma, at first, I think in the Salido fight, that was him, and he learned from that. And now, he doesn't allow you to tie him up. And I especially liked how when Nakatani was trying to clinch him, he just kept punching. With these bigger guys with longer arms, that's a perfect opportunity for you to punch. You know what I mean? Just go for it. You know what I mean? And if you happen to hit him behind the head or on the kidneys or whatever, like, it's not your fault. You know what I mean? Like, clinching is a foul too. So respond. You know what I mean? And it makes for a better fight for us too, the fans.
I forgot who we fought, but I saw him spun this guy around. I think some South American dude early on in his career. Forgot, but that was the first time I saw Lomachenko fight, and damn, I was so
Sosa?
impressed. Yeah, maybe it was Sosa.
Or before that, maybe Marriaga.
It was around Pacquiao versus Mayweather. When I saw that, I was like, man, Manny Pacquiao should have been doing this.
Yeah, he certainly had the footwork to be able to do that.
So, what else? Let's talk a little bit about Casimiro. I want to ask you what you think of him.
Who, me?
Yeah.
What do I think of Casimiro? I don't know. I really haven't seen him tested, I I never thought anything of Tete. I thought he was just a chinny, overrated nobody. I thought Nonito was gonna fucking sleep the guy, which is why he ducked Nonito. I don't care what anybody says. He ducked Nonito. He was gonna. If you think Gaballo, those body shots affected him. That tall, skinny African, he would have folded him like a fucking lawn chair. So in other words, Casimiro knocking that guy out, it was impressive. It was a very good victory. He announced himself, good for him. But it wasn't like anything special. It's not like he beat a special fighter. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
for me, the verdict is out on Casimiro. If they put him in the ring with Nonito, I think it'll be hell for Nonito until he catches him. and then we find out how Casimiro's chin holds up. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I don't know what to think. I think he's limited. I think he's in certain ways basic, but at the same time he's very tricky, sneaky, and unorthodox, and he hits hard. I think he's a good fighter, but I just don't. I don't know if that he's elite. I'd like to see him tested. I want to see him fight, man. I want to see him fight the Inoue. I want to see him fight Nonito. I want to see him in these top level fights. But from what I understand, the shit that's going on behind the scenes, like he's getting fucked with. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I agree with your assessment. He needs like to fight a special fighter. I mean, we know he's good. We know he hits hard, but we need to see him against the likes of Nonito Donaire or Naoya Inoue. Personally, I think he's good enough to beat them, especially Nonito now that he's getting older. But we don't know. I mean, he's never been knocked out or knocked down before, but he's never been hit by somebody like Nonito Donaire. That fight was supposed to happen already. I mean, even the Inoue fight and then it didn't happen, and the Donaire fight, it didn't happen. This guy doesn't have luck, I guess. And now he's getting fucked with. Roadmap. What do you think of the Donaire versus Casimiro? Are you still there?
Yeah, my mind didn't change on that one. Casimiro beats him, but again, Casimiro's opponent is not the ring; it's outside the ring, so it's tricky, man. But a lot of people say Casimiro isn't tested in all this, but he has what it takes to beat Casimiro or to beat Donaire in a way. Just the technical brilliance of the guy. I don't think a lot of people study him enough to appreciate it, and I think a lot of people just watch him and say he has a lot of flaws and stuff like this. But the guy's a brilliant technical fighter. A lot of people underestimate that, and so
Really? You think so?
he's a brilliant technical fighter. I mean, look, he's awkward. He's sloppy. He's wild. But it's accompanied by an intelligent approach to it. If he gets off balance, he knows exactly where to go. If he overcommits on a shot, for example, or if he throws a punch and he falls off balance, he knows how to come back from it. He has a lot of coping strategies, and again, it can be dangerous, but for a fighter like that, that's what you're supposed to do. You are naturally wild. If you try to remove that, then you're going to change your style completely. So his way of being sloppy, he has a lot of coping mechanisms on top of that, and he saves himself from a lot of troubles by resorting to those coping mechanisms at the last second. If he's like a performer that doesn't have any scripts. He speaks, and then he just goes in there and he says what he wants to say. And that's what he does in the ring. He just sees what his opponent does, doesn't have any plans going in, and it works for him. A lot of people think that you're supposed to come in there with a game plan all the time. It doesn't work like that, man. Sometimes you just gotta look at your opponent see what they do, and go freestyle sometimes. And that's what Casimiro does that I like. He knows how to think in the moment. A lot of fighters don't know how to do that. The moment their plan A doesn't work, they don't have a plan B, or even if they did have a plan B, they can't execute it. So
Yeah,
Casimiro needs the big fights, man. I think
he does.
that's his biggest hindrance. He needs the big fights.
The problem is Inoue and Donaire are the same way. They have plan Bs, you know. No, you there? Oh no. Yeah.
I think he could beat Donaire, but Inoue, he's not gonna beat Inoue, man. I mean, Inoue is like special.
We'll have to see Inoue against that Thai fighter first. How he does it. Who knows, man? It's the season of upsets, bro. That Thai might put up.
I like to see the fight, but he's not gonna beat Inoue. No way he beats Inoue.
Oh man.
Yeah, overhand. Inoue is fighting today, and then the backstory is Inoue struggled against Thai fighters in the past, so he wanna erase all doubts. He wanna show the Japanese audience that he's improved, and he promised. I mean, not promised, but he said that he's gonna try to knock him out with a jab.
That's what he said about Casimiro.
No.
No. The Thai fighter, Dipayan or something.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess he's the perfect fighter to, try to do that against.
With a jab, fuck out of here.
With a jab.
Oh yeah, that's today they're fighting, huh?
Yeah, it's today. I mean, what I like about Casimiro versus Inoue is the perfect representation of each culture's martial arts. Inoue is like that samurai or kendo, very fast, sharp, and direct, and very efficient. And Casimiro is like the typical FMA fighter or escrimador, where they're very tricky and they like to move, and with all these flashy movements. I just want to see it, man. Boy, but do you think Inoue has issue with his, what do you call this? I mean, I don't think his bone structure can take punches that well, and I think he cuts easy. Or is it just because of Nonito Donaire? I'm not sure. What do you think, Precise? I know you were critical of Inoue in the past, right? Until the Donaire fight.
That's exactly some of the same criticisms I have of anybody that doesn't fight top level guys or hasn't yet fought them. I was skeptical of Inoue. Like, obviously the skill was there, the power was there, but because his defense was always leaky, I needed to see him take a good punch, right? And that was the last piece of the puzzle I needed to see. And he showed it to me against Nonito. So when he beat Nonito in the way that he beat him, for me, he became a pound for pound fighter. He proved that he is. And now that his chin is pretty granite, you have to give him that credit, I think. Not to say he couldn't be knocked out, right? Anyone could get knocked out. But because his defense was always leaky and it's still not perfect, he needed to have a good chin, and he does. And the problem with that is, if he could take your punch, no one, not even Nonito, who's always had a good chin. I guess he hurt him to the body, whatever. But if this guy is hurting a guy like Nonito, and he's taking Nonito's punch, I don't see anybody beating him for a while, man. With the skill that he has, also, I just can't see it. He's gonna have to move up in weight. He's gonna have to move up in weight or get old, right?
Amongst the guys at 122, who do you think gives Inoue the biggest test?
Nonito.
122?
Oh, at
When he moves
122.
up.
I don't know. I'd have to think about that.
For me, I think it might be Akhmadaliev. He's big and yeah, he's big for the weight and he has a lot of activity. He does punch a lot. Fulton really overhead? I'm not sure. What about you, Roadmap?
What was the question?
Who do you think gives Inoue the biggest test at 122 when he finally moves up?
122. Yeah, it's MJ. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I don't know. It's a complicated name. He's from Uzbekistan, right, or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. That's the only guy that I really watch at 122. I watch more of the 126 to 130 guys, not much in 122. But I think he needs to conquer this division first before moving up.
Yeah.
Casimiro will give him a pretty good fight.
I want to see that.
Yeah, because,
oh boy, but yeah, go ahead.
Because in a way, you have to consider his opposition. He never fought any awkward fighters. He never fought any runners. He never fought any outboxers. He fought a flat-footed Nonito Donaire. And if you look at all of his fights, which I did look at all of his opponents in the past. All of them were flat-footed. No footwork, no awkwardness in them. And so this is going to be a really good test for him because he's never fought a style like Casimiro. You know, he never fought that much footwork. He never fought a guy with that much awkwardness. And he never fought a guy with that much variety in his game. I mean, Donaire is a pretty good one, but it wasn't the same Donaire as in the past. So he didn't have the same footwork, doesn't have the same flashiness. And so I'm really excited for that one if it does happen. Because Naoya anyway never fought. And all of his opponents, if you look at all of his opponents, he never fought someone who's awkward. He never fought someone who ran away. That's why for people who's criticizing Casimiro for having difficulties with Rigondeaux, put Rigondeaux in there with Naoya anyway. Let's see how he does. He never fought someone who ran away. Never fought anyone who had footwork. Never fought anyone who had, lateral movement. All of the guys he fought, they were standing right in front of him. So it's natural that he's going to knock all of them out. Donaire was the only exception.
Yeah, Nonito is such a beast, man. I mean, in his prime, he probably beats Naoya Inoue and Casimiro comfortably. Oh,
Probably.
I mean, he's a badass. Apparently Sean Gibbons just announced. I think he knows the reason why Janriel Casimiro did not make it to the weigh-in. Here it comes. You might get stripped. Let me read it real quick. What's restricted news? I was very sad about the situation, but this was caused by Janriel Casimiro and his brilliant advisors, said Sean Gibbons, the president of Manny Pacquiao Promotions. Let's be missing Casimiro's fistic jaunt into the smoldering desert. In case he was advised to stay here in the United States, said Gibbons, who was plotting his words. Next best move. I think it's just another smear campaign. Okay, let me share it to you guys in the comments. Read it for yourselves. Oops. Wrong. Yeah, man, I feel bad for Casimiro. I mean, I'm rooting for the guy because he's doing it his own way. He set up his own training camp without the help of his promoters. I mean, I heard that Manny Pacquiao did say that Gibbons helped Casimiro, but he refused their help. I mean, it's not. It's I wouldn't advise that to Casimiro, but I don't know. I think I give him props, man. That shit takes balls. What he's doing. It may not be smart, but it takes balls. I mean, I like that he's doing that, but we can see how hard that shit is. He's getting fucked with. Oh well. Good luck to Casimiro, man. Hopefully he can pull through. Anyway, I think we're gonna end this. Thank you for coming here, Precise. Always a pleasure. And I'm sure the audience, they learned a lot, especially the Filipino audience. And ikaw din, Ring Roadmap. Maraming salamat, kapatid. Any last words?
Thanks for having me on. Nice to meet you, Ring Roadmap, and I look forward to future engagements. Take it easy, guys.
Thank you, man. Ikaw, Roadmap.
Same for
Any
me, guys.
message?
Salamat. Salamat sa inyo lahat sa mga tumutong dito. And yeah, Filipino po ako, hindi po ako negro. Thank you.
Hindi negro. He sounds like a negro, but he's not. Yeah, he gets accused of that. Anyway, maraming salamat sa lahat ng nakikinig. Please do subscribe to Precise Presenter, aka Fight Film. I dropped his link down below. And of course, Ring Roadmap, kababayan to. I know he doesn't sound like it. He is. My opinion. Alright, I'm just gonna read the comments. Sup Tomato Can and Kultura, Anonymous PH, big shout out sa iyo. And Kultura, salamat sa pagpunta. Tomato Can. The Punisher, hey man, thanks for coming. Yep, thank you, Overhand. Oh damn, I didn't know I could do this. I forgot. Shoot. My opinion, even they strip Casimiro belt, still had a big fight. I don't know, Warren. I think Casimiro needs that belt. Without it, he doesn't have a bargaining chip anymore. I don't think he can get the big fights without the WBO. Can I ask it? Okay. Can I ask you too? When is the first time you see a promotional fighter almost robbed by his own promotion event? Nietas almost robbed in the first fight in his new promoter. I'm shocked. Probellum, bad. Well, I don't think it's the promotion. I think it's the what do you call this? It's the judges. We don't know. For now, it's all speculation. Hindi talaga natin alam. I don't know. I mean, what are they gonna get from this guy Ximenez, right? What do you think happened? You're still here, Ring Roadmap.
They probably favored the younger guy. I mean, isn't Ximenez young? I don't know.
Yeah, by
Yeah, they probably
9
favored him.
years. You think he was? I guess. True. Without the belt, Casimiro will be high risk, low reward for that matter. Yeah, I agree. Anonymous PH. He should do everything they can to keep that belt. You're right, Tomato. Small period of. But anyway, I won't keep you long. Kapatid, I know it's lunchtime. So, thank you ulit sa lahat ng nakinig. Thank you very much. All the Pinoys and the Western. Thank you for coming. And we'll see you again next time. Maraming salamat.